Hi, Bia, and hi, Umberto, my friends, my brothers in Jesus Christ. Today, we are going to talk about the book of Matthew. The book of Matthew is the first one book of the Gospel of the New Testament. And it has been written by the one out of 12 disciples of Jesus, chosen by him, and he was a tax collector, and it seems that he was a little bit educated. And Matthew presents Jesus as the king, as the Messiah. And I would like to read something very interesting for you that says Matthew's purpose is to show that God has kept his ancient promises to Israel through the life, death, and the resurrection of Jesus the Messiah. The long expected reign of heaven is now coming to earth, bringing the Jewish story to its climax. Matthew begins highlighting that Jesus was the son of David. He is Israel's most famous king, and the son of Abraham, and the founding patriarch. Well, listen, when you see, if you remember, in the beginning of our study in Genesis, I said that, and we read together that all the things that happened in the garden, in the Eden, was already pointing to Jesus. Remember? So that's why it's very important to understand a bit of the Old Testament, because based upon that, we can understand better and to have a broader vision, yeah? To understand what is coming in the New Testament. So Jesus was already promised by God that he will come to the earth and to make the link again that was broken by Adam and Eve, right? And so, but along the way, we could understand that God was forming his people. Remember that he brought Abraham from the land of his father. After Abraham came his son Isaac. After Isaac came Jacob with his 12 sons that originated the 12 tribes of the Hebrew people. So, so everything was concentrating, everything was coming to one point. Jewish people, Hebrew people. So, so they expect that Jesus was come to them. So all the time they were expecting the Messiah. And at that moment in the earth, about 2,000 years ago, before that, the last prophet of the Old Testament was Zechariah. And from Zechariah to the coming of Jesus Christ for the first century was a big gap of silence that we call that a period of silence. Did not appear no prophet, it did not appear anything. Okay, there were a lot of other religions like the Maccabees, yeah, that they tried to impose some religion, some doctrines, and this book were not, Maccabees and the other one were not accepted, because even in Maccabees, they were give some apology for suicide. So, Jesus Christ is presented like a king. But very important thing that you have to understand and grasp at. In the day that Jesus Christ was born, in that silent night, remember, oh silent night, Diana, the angel appeared for the Magi. The Magi were a shepherd or a wise men, but at that moment, the angel came to them and announced to them that Jesus Christ is born. And they understood at all the message of God. And immediately they put away all their stuff, and in the heaven, a nice and brilliant stars was appointing in the where Jesus was. And they started a long way because they wanted to see the Messiah. They wanted to see the King of the Jews. Remember this. This is a new born king. And he, as they were heading to Jerusalem, where is the most convenient place that they tried to find out a newborn king. So they went to the palace. And when the king was Herod, when he heard, no, there is no born king here. I'm the, I am the king. There is no prince born here. But the Magi told him, explained to him what happened. And he was very disturbing, and he was very worried. And he said to the Magi, hey, try to find out this new born king. When you meet, worship him, but please come on your way back, come to the palace and drop off here, because I want to know where he is, because I want to also to worship him. But the King Herod was very violent man. He did not accept any person that could threat his position. He was ready to kill the guy. Even the history tells that there was two sons of King Herod that they were studying in Rome, and the capital of the Roman Empire. And his wife said, "Hey, you have two brothers or two sons that they are living there, they are studying. When they will come back or go back to Jerusalem, for sure in the future they are going to take over your place." And imagine how was bad, how violent, how bloodshed is that guy. He sent to kill the two boys. So when the Magi went to visit Jesus, and he almost asked what time was the angel, and the light started showing that the newborn king has born in Jerusalem. Yeah. And then, because he wanted to say, hey, how old is this child? So, because the moment that the Magi received the message of God and came to visit Jesus Christ, took a long time, more than a year, 2 years. And then The Herod said to the soldiers, "Go and kill all the children below 2 years." So he wanted to destroy, to eradicate any possibility of threatening to his position as a kingdom. But God is God, all knowing. God was uh, planning or plan your life and plan my life. He is in the control of our lives. Imagine about his own son Jesus Christ that was born in Jerusalem, in Nazareth, yeah, in the Nazareth, and the three magi, they saw Jesus Christ. When they saw, they bowed down, they worship him, and they brought with them a frankincense, myrrh, and gold. Why? Because God was preparing everything already prepared before. The frankincense is a kind of gum, okay, like a soft rub, okay, very you when you burn it, it smells good and sends away mosquitoes, flies, and so on and so on. Because imagine Jesus was living in a pen and was stable, yeah. Imagine it. The other one, the mirror, was a kind of incense too, but at that time the people used to it like anesthesis, yeah, just if something bite the you, something that can create some pain, you can anoint your body to protect you. And gold, why? Why they did bring gold with them? Because God knew, God's omnipresent, God knew that Herod was going to order to kill Jesus. And in the evening, an angel came to Joseph and said, "Joseph, take Mary and your son and go to Egypt because uh, Herod wants to kill him. And you have to stay there until I come to you and say to you, it's the time to go back to Jerusalem or Nazareth as well." And so, in that evening, Joseph took Mary, Jesus, in a donkey and put in a donkey, and they went to Egypt. That's why God says later, "I out of Egypt I called my son." So this is very important to understand. Jesus was presented as a king. Jesus was a threat for the Herod, but Jesus was the Messiah, the promised one, the anointed one that was come to save, but save the spiritual oppression, not save the Jewish people or Hebrew people from the punishment, okay, or under the dominion or the domain of the Roman Emperor. So this is a very, very important point that you have to understand why the book of Matthew wants to tell us. When you go over for the next chapters, so we are going to see, okay, Jesus being tempted by Satan. When Satan he was taken by his spirit to the desert or wilderness, and the devil tempted Jesus Christ, asked him to bow down to him, because if he has uh, done it, or if obey him, he was going to give all all the earth to Jesus. But imagine how there is the devil, because everything belongs to Jesus, but he will say, I'm going to give you what is yours. And in other passages, he says that if you are hungry, you have stones. Why don't you change the stone in bread? And Jesus replied to him, not only the bread lives the man, but from all the word that comes from his mouth of God. Then, so now it's just to understand, that to have an overview. And after that, Jesus goes, okay, to the our wedding party, and he there changed the water from water into the best wine. And they start then the ministry of Jesus after this point. First of all, he was tested and tempted by Satan. Later, he makes the selection of his disciples. He calls 12 disciples. And this, it's going to be one point that I would like to spend some time with you, because it's very, very important to understand. Jesus called them all. Jesus started the training and equipped them all for 3 years. They lived with Jesus, seeing and having the experience to be living alive, yeah, with Jesus. So seeing what Jesus did, what he has done, and what the possibility that he could do, because they now was understand and be trained and be equipped, because those men, Jesus was the best coach. Imagine, Jesus was the best coach ever seen in this life. And these 12 disciples, guided by Jesus Christ, they changed the world. They changed their life with their thoughts, their teachings, that they were memorized. They were taught by the big rabbi, or big, but the biggest master, Jesus Christ. Okay? This is one point that we have maybe later to discuss, to understand. And these 12 people changed the world. Okay? Supported by the power, the Holy Spirit, for the knowledge of the Holy Spirit, and supported by the Holy Spirit. And this happened more than 2,000 years before, and now we are still talking about this man. And now Jesus is the most discussed man in the world, in his natural body and divine person as he was. So Jesus had two things. He was man, but he was divine. So we have to understand this. And this can open much more, or broader our vision. So we are going to understand the creation of the church in Jerusalem. And from that point, from that moment, the church spreads to the world. And what has been done there reached eyes. Today we are talking about that because the disciple in Christ did that. So the, the church belongs to Jesus. We are body of the Christ. The church is a body that belongs to Jesus, and we make part of it. So nobody has the control of the church. Nobody has the dominion. Yeah, sometimes I want to dominate. Nobody has this power because the church belongs to Jesus. Jesus is the head of the church. Nobody will destroy, nobody will can prevail against the church because Jesus is Son of God. He is the controller. He is on the control of your life, my life, and for and all the world. Okay, God bless you. And next week we are going to talk about more points just to understand this kind of coming. Yeah, what's coming, what is influencing, and what the church influenced at that moment in the first years of the launching of the church. Ok? Um abraço, vejo vocês breve. Bom, bye bye.